Welcome back. Since Hurricanes Harvey, Irma, and Maria made landfall, members of the 139th Airlift Wing from St. Joseph here have been busy with relief efforts. They brought supplies and people all across the country. KQ2's Christina Zagami able to ride alongside with the 139th for the past week, getting an exclusive look at their mission. She is now back with us here in St. Joseph and joins us in studio to tell us more about her experience.
That's right, Alan. I spent the past week with members of the 139th as they brought relief from the mainland over to the devastated islands. A lot of my time, 45 hours to be exact, was spent in the air with the flight crew Jessie 85. But I was also able to see what other members of the airlift wing were up to on the ground. In the skies, on the mainland, and on the islands, members of the 139th go wherever they are needed.
We all joined for the chance to help, and this was finally our call.
This past week, KQ2 got an exclusive look at their hurricane relief missions. It starts with the flight crews,
Savannah,
responsible for collecting and moving supplies and people. They spend most of their time in the air, often only touching down to load up and take right back off.
We'll spend minimum time on the ground. As soon as we're legal to fly again, we'll get up in the morning and take everything on into Puerto Rico. We're getting ready to take off now.
The first mission for flight crew Jessie 85, getting the 241st Air Traffic Control Squadron to Ponce, Puerto Rico. The 241st will stay here for the next 2 months, operating this mobile traffic tower to make it easier for supplies to come in.
Oh, huge. This is normally a non-controlled airport, and with the increased operations, they definitely needed positive control. So that's what we're here doing.
In the past week alone, Jessie 85 made their rounds between Georgia, New York, and the hurricane-ravaged islands. For all of the cargo being moved through the air, there's a team on the ground ready to receive it. In St. Croix, it happens at the 139th Aerial Port.
Onloading, offloading, all different types of aircraft, assisting with military aircraft, civilian aircraft, FEMA.
For the majority of these men and women, this is a second job.
We have highway patrolmen. We have folks that work for KCP&L here. We have one that works for the nuclear power plant in northwest Missouri.
But when disaster strikes, it becomes top priority.
I had 100 hands in the air, and it was picking who got to go and who didn't get to come. So everybody was really excited to come do their part.
It's like being on a team, a sports team, only it's a little more, I think, better than that because you're not just playing a sport. It's kind of a real deal, and you're accomplishing things that is important.
And it can take you all over the world. Here in St. Joseph, reporting from Savannah, Georgia. I'm from Puerto Rico, from Niagara Falls, in St. Croix. In Ponce, Puerto Rico, I'm Christina Zagami for KQ2.
Your local news leader.
And Vice Wing Commander John Cluck told me the 139th was the first wing called out when Hurricane Harvey hit Texas, and their relief missions haven't slowed down since.
Well, it looked like quite a trip, Christina. We've talked a little bit off the air. Why don't you share your itinerary, I guess, a little bit. 6 days.
Yeah.
Now, where did you go exactly?
Oh boy, I'd have to think about it. So we went from St. Joseph to Savannah, back to St. Joseph, back to Savannah, just in day one. Then we were back and forth from Savannah to Ponce, Puerto Rico a couple times. We actually made it up to Niagara Falls, New York as well.
Now, why New York?
So basically, they just get the call and they go. So we went to Niagara Falls, New York and picked up more supplies that they had there. And then on our way back, we actually dropped some people off in New York. So
okay, so all over the place. Now, I get a little stir crazy on a 2-hour flight, maybe to Houston or Chicago or something. You were on this airplane
45
hours upon hours, 45 hours. What was it like being on that plane that long?
Well, honestly, I was a little lucky because I got the VIP spot. I got to sit in the cockpit and I got kind of a whole bench to myself. And you know, I'm not very tall, Alan, so I basically just slept right there on that bench. They also do have a top bunk as well where you can sleep if you're tired. And when there weren't supplies on, actually members of our crew would just have hammocks out in the back. So it's actually not as bad as I think a commercial
Knockout
flight.
for a couple hours.
You get a lot more leg room.
So now, again, the purpose of the trip, getting to Puerto Rico, what we have seen all the video and we've heard the stories. What's it like down there?
It's pretty rough. I mean, in Puerto Rico, we didn't get too much time. We would land and kind of just let stuff off. I did get to spend a lot of time in St. Croix, which is really just across the pond there, and definitely at every inch of the island you can see.
And we hear it's real hot down there.
It was very hot
very
as
little
well.
electricity. Well, Christina Zagami, great trip down there, great
Thank
reporting.
you.
Some incredible stuff we were able to bring back here. Thanks so much.
Good to be back.